Hey folks, Coach Patrick here, back with another weekly update from my office. Apologize for my coworkers. Hopefully they behave themselves. We'll see. Um, so thanks for joining me. Another week capping up with the opportunity for us to talk a little bit about what it means to move into February. Now, there's two types of athletes here inside Endurance Nation. There's three types of athletes out there. So first, there's the athletes who started the November out season or entering week 14 and are about to graduate. There are the athletes who are in the January out season who are about to do their first week of testing, week 5, which is incredible. And then there's the other athletes who have no idea what I'm talking about right now, and they're doing some other kind of crazy program, and they're not on track to have a fantastic year, which is fine, zero judgment. But just a reminder, if you fall into that last bucket, there's only so much time left until we can actually help you have a fantastic and meaningful season. The work we do here in the winter is actually really impactful. It builds structure to your year, it builds critical fitness, to create the habits and opportunities that will position you for success over the rest of your year. It's lots of little pieces of work that stack up to turn out to be something amazing. If your year was a Lego set, we're building those foundational pieces to make things perfect. So when the princess shows up with a dolphin for the aquarium and the meteor to shoot across your Lego filled sky, it'll look beautiful. Anyway, so with that said, as we think about moving into February, there's a couple key things that I really want you to be mindful of. By now, you've had a minimum of 5, if not more, like 20 weeks, depending on where you are with your progression for this season of training under your belt. Now it's a great time for you to reflect. February is a good inflection point because we start moving into what becomes the last of our 3-day weekend opportunities before we start thinking about like spring break opportunities or early season races. February is really, for most of us as endurance athletes, the last true winter month for training before we get into other external opportunities. Whether you live in the UK, hey, what's up, Jojo? Or you live on the West Coast. Mike, peace, how's it going? There's going to be better weather coming your way, but not quite just yet. So February is an opportunity for us to think about how we get strategic with our work, how we start to build the momentum we need to be great for the rest of the season. So if your race is earlier in the season, you may want to think about taking President's Day weekend and adding some extra volume into your system. Take the plan, turn it off for a second, get the zone 1 out, and you can do hiking, you can do walking, you can do running, you can do cycling, you can do non-weight bearing, you can do whatever you want, but putting in a volume bubble here actually could be advantageous for you going forward, particularly if you haven't done anything longer than 90 minutes so far. Those of you who are on the Coach Patrick train who've been doing 2.5-hour rides and have kind of built that resiliency, you may need to go a little bit longer over that longer weekend and get it ready. The whole point of that intermittent volume, which I talked about in my coach lesson in January, so please go back and watch it if you haven't seen it, is to actually stress your system in a short and effective way with minimal intensity, but increasing the overall training load so we can have a net positive and short-term rapid adaptation as we move into the rest of your year. We don't want to go to a full week just yet. Those of you who are doing spring in Belgium with me or doing Tuscany in June with me, it's now time. Think a little bit about that volume. February becomes an important month, and I hope to hear from you. And if you haven't reached out to me already, about what it means to put together a good weekend in terms of volume. We'll get on Discord, we'll suffer together, whatever it takes. I'll teach you some Italian, or definitely won't teach you Belgian, but we can scroll through all the Belgian beers that exist out there and talk about the different types of cobbles that we will suffer on. But regardless of what your race is, February becomes a critical month. It's also the time for those of you who will be racing early in the season to start thinking seriously about taking your equipment to the shop and having the shop take a look at it. Take a look at the spokes, take a look at the chain, take a look at just the general infrastructure. If there's a problem, you want to know about it now, because if they need to fix it, it's going to take 4 to 5 weeks, which kind of puts you back at the time you're going to be out there on the open road. You don't want to find out at that point in time you don't have a bike for 4 to 5 weeks. So now's a good time to get that done. And in fact, while you're taking a look at your inventory, go take a look at those running shoes and your other equipment. Make sure that it's all up to date. If we do need to make any adjustments, now's a great time. Finally, on the nutrition front, we are in this really tension-filled point where athletes are trying to do longer workouts. They need to fuel for those workouts, but they're also getting closer to the season. And 9 out of 10 endurance athletes are taking a look at the number on the scale and saying, I don't like that number. I want it to change. Now, most endurance athletes have unreasonable expectations for what body composition should look like, but I don't frown against being critical of the food you're putting inside your body and make better food choices. The one thing I will caution you against is you don't want to compromise the quality of your exercise food. This is a great time to invest in, hydration mix, calories for workouts, etc. Because the workouts, as they start to get longer, whether in the President's Day weekend session or just in general, as we start to increase the volume, I need you to be consistent with that new exercise nutrition, because the quality of your sessions will dramatically diminish, especially if you don't have that endurance fitness just yet. And calories are the way to get through that hump now. So we can adapt faster, put the work in, not be dying while we do it, recover faster, adapt faster, and continue that progression. So be on top of your day-to-day nutrition, but do not skimp on that workout nutrition. Okay. So just some subtle messages for all of you. Logistically, for the team, a reminder, our kit's coming out later this month. Hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll have the online order up for us to get the kit from Champsys, our brand new cycling kit. And our tri-kit is always open for sale as well. Early season race information is coming. I'm laying the foundation right now for what our race information components of the website will look like for 2025. I'm cooking up something a little different this year. So it'll be based off our key races. So look for it coming out there. If you have other races you're interested in, I'm open to feedback. But right now, I'm going to stick really to those key races as we build up. Okay. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I stayed warm because it was cold again. We're going to get more snow, etc. here on the East Coast. But either way, remember, February's kind of it, my friends. If you love that wintertime and love that indoor stuff, this is the time to kind of lean into it because your excuses will soon go away to stay inside all the time. You have to start getting outside. Everyone else, hope you had a great time. I look forward to seeing you this week. Peace. Be well.